What if I told you that 5 of the most common foods, perhaps even one sitting in your pantry right now, are secretly derailing your diabetes management and quietly stealing the vitality from your golden years? It's a jarring thought, isn't it? For decades, you've been told to simply watch your sugar, avoid candy, and cut back on dessert. But what if that well-meaning advice is dangerously incomplete? My name is Dr. Robert Anderson. For over 30 years, I've had the privilege of working with thousands of seniors across the United States, helping them navigate the complex and often frustrating world of chronic health conditions, especially type 2 diabetes. I've sat in my clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and listened to countless stories of confusion and despair. Stories from wonderful people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are doing everything they've been told. They take their medications diligently, they test their blood sugar, they skip the birthday cake, yet their A1C levels remain stubbornly high, their energy levels plummet by mid-afternoon, and the fear of complications like neuropathy, vision loss, or heart disease looms like a dark cloud. The most pervasive and damaging myth in diabetes care is that managing this condition is solely about avoiding the obvious sweets. The truth is far more insidious. The greatest threats to your blood sugar stability and long-term health are often disguised as convenient, normal, or even healthy everyday foods. They are masters of camouflage, hiding in plain sight on grocery store shelves and in our refrigerators. They don't scream sugar like a frosted donut does. They whisper, slowly and consistently contributing to inflammation, insulin resistance, and weight gain. This isn't about scare tactics or adding more restrictions to your life. It's about empowerment through knowledge. It's about trading confusion for clarity. In this article, we are going to pull back the curtain. We won't just list 5 food groups to avoid. We will dissect precisely why they are so detrimental for anyone over 60 living with diabetes. We'll explore the physiological impact they have on an aging body. And most importantly, I will provide you with simple, delicious, and sustainable alternatives that will help you reclaim your health, boost your energy, and truly thrive. This is the conversation your doctor might not have had time to have with you. This is the crucial information that can change everything. The first and arguably most destructive category we must address is sugar-sweetened beverages. I often refer to these as liquid candy in my practice, because that's exactly what they are. The old way of thinking was that as long as it wasn't a regular soda, you were probably fine. A glass of orange juice with breakfast was considered a healthy source of vitamin C. Sweetened iced tea was a refreshing treat, and sports drinks were for rehydration. This perspective is not just outdated, it's dangerous. The problem is that our bodies, especially after the age of 60 when our metabolism has naturally slowed, process liquid sugar with devastating speed and efficiency. Unlike solid food, there is no fiber, no protein, and no fat to slow down absorption. When you drink a 12-ounce can of soda or a glass of apple juice, you are essentially delivering a massive, unbuffered dose of sugar directly into your bloodstream. The importance of eliminating these cannot be overstated. Imagine your pancreas as a hard-working factory employee who has been on the job for over 6 decades. When this tidal wave of sugar hits, that employee is forced into a state of emergency over time, pumping out insulin in a frantic attempt to get the sugar out of the blood and into the cells. For someone with insulin resistance, the hallmark of type 2 diabetes, the cells don't respond properly. The sugar lingers in the bloodstream, causing immediate hyperglycemia, while the excess insulin promotes fat storage, particularly dangerous visceral fat around your organs. This cycle exacerbates insulin resistance, increases inflammation, and places enormous strain on your cardiovascular system. Studies have consistently shown a direct link between the consumption of these beverages and an increased risk of heart disease, kidney disease, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's a vicious cycle that medication alone can struggle to control. The solution, thankfully, is both simple and profoundly effective. The first step is to make a non-negotiable commitment to eliminate sodas, fruit juices, yes, even 100% juice, sweetened teas, and sports drinks from your diet. Think of it not as deprivation, but as removing a poison. Your primary beverage should become water. If you find plain water unappealing, revolutionize it. Get a large pitcher and infuse it with slices of lemon, lime, cucumber, and a few sprigs of mint. The flavor is refreshing and contains virtually no calories or sugar. Unsweetened iced tea, both black and green, is another excellent choice, rich in antioxidants. In the colder months, explore the world of herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, or ginger, which are not only hydrating, but can also offer calming and anti-inflammatory benefits. For your caffeine fix, black coffee in moderation is perfectly fine. If you crave fizz, switch to sparkling water or seltzer. You can add a squeeze of fresh lime or a few muddled berries for a hint of flavor. I remember a patient of mine, a gentleman named John from Naples, Florida. At 72, John was struggling. His A1C was hovering around 8.5%, and he felt perpetually tired. He swore he had a healthy diet, and he started every single day with a large glass of fresh Florida orange juice. He believed he was doing his body good. When we dug into it, that single glass of juice was delivering nearly 40 grams of sugar straight to his system every morning, setting him up for a blood sugar roller coaster for the rest of the day. He reluctantly agreed to a 30-day challenge. Replace the juice with water infused with orange and lemon slices. At his next follow-up, he was a different man. He'd lost 6 pounds, his average morning blood sugar reading had dropped by 40 points, and he had more energy than he'd had in years. That one simple switch was the catalyst for his entire health transformation. If you're finding this information helpful and it's starting to connect some dots for you, please take a moment to type the number 1 in the comments section below. If this isn't resonating, type 0, so I can learn how to provide better value in the future. Next on our list are the foods I call stealth sugars, refined grains and starches. This category includes white bread, white rice, most pastas, crackers, and bakery items like bagels and pastries. The old approach was simply about portion control. Just have 1 slice of toast instead of 2. While portion size is always important, this advice misses the fundamental problem with the food itself. The issue isn't just that it's a carbohydrate, it's that it is a refined carbohydrate. The refining process strips the grain of its most valuable components, the bran and the germ. This is where all the fiber, B vitamins, and healthy fats reside. What you're left with is the starchy endosperm, which, from your body's perspective, is not much different from table sugar. It breaks down with incredible speed, flooding your bloodstream with glucose and demanding another emergency response from your pancreas. The importance of understanding this concept is critical for day-to-day blood sugar management. When you eat a sandwich on white bread or a bowl of white pasta, you experience that familiar, rapid spike in blood sugar. This is often followed by a crash an hour or 2 later as your body overcompensates with insulin, causing your blood sugar to plummet. This crash leaves you feeling tired, irritable, and, ironically, craving more simple carbohydrates to bring your energy back up. This creates a relentless cycle of spikes and crashes that exhausts your body, promotes inflammation, and makes it nearly impossible to achieve stable blood glucose levels. Furthermore, the lack of fiber means you don't feel full or satisfied for long, leading to overeating and weight gain. For a senior, maintaining stable energy throughout the day is paramount for an active and independent lifestyle, and refined grains are the enemy of that stability. The solution here is about making smart, deliberate swaps. You do not have to eliminate carbohydrates, but you must choose the right ones. The key is to always opt for 100% whole grains. When buying bread, ignore the marketing on the front of the package that says whole grain or multigrain. You must become a label detective. Turn the package over and look at the ingredients list. The very first ingredient should be 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain. Swap white rice for brown rice, wild rice, or even better, ancient grains like quinoa, which is a complete protein, or farro and barley, which are packed with soluble fiber. When it comes to pasta, look for 100% whole wheat versions, or explore the excellent alternatives now widely available, such as pastas made from chickpeas or lentils. These are higher in both fiber and protein, leading to a much gentler impact on your blood sugar. I worked with a lovely patient, Mary, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Columbus, Ohio. Mary was meticulous with her medication, but her post-meal blood sugar readings were always sky high. Her diet seemed reasonable: a slice of toast with her egg in the morning, a turkey sandwich for lunch, and pasta with her husband for dinner. The culprit, of course, was that all these were made with refined white flour. She felt constantly bloated and tired. We worked together to swap her white toast for a slice of hearty, whole grain bread, her sandwich bread for a large lettuce wrap or whole wheat wrap, and her white pasta for a chickpea-based pasta. Within a month, her post-meal spikes were cut in half, but the change she was most excited about was her energy. "Dr. Anderson," she told me, "I don't have that 3 p.m. slump anymore. I can actually enjoy my afternoon walk instead of needing a nap." It was a life-altering change, all from switching the type of grain she was eating. Is this making sense? If this is a light bulb moment for you, please let me know by typing a 1 in the comments. If you already knew this, or it's not helpful, just type 0. Your feedback is incredibly valuable. The third category to permanently remove from your shopping list is processed meats. This group includes breakfast sausages, bacon, hot dogs, salami, bologna, and most pre-packaged deli meats. For many, these are staples of convenience and flavor. They're quick for breakfast, easy for a sandwich, and a fixture at family barbecues. The old wisdom might have suggested choosing leaner versions, or just eating them in moderation. However, modern science has shown us that the danger in these foods goes far beyond their fat content. The very act of processing, salting, curing, smoking, and adding chemical preservatives transforms them into something profoundly unhealthy, especially for an individual managing diabetes and its associated cardiovascular risks. The importance of avoiding these foods lies in what I call the inflammatory trifecta: excessive sodium, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives like nitrates. First, the sodium content in processed meats is astronomical. A single hot dog or a few slices of deli meat can contain a significant portion of your recommended daily sodium intake. For a person with diabetes, who is already at a 2 to 4 times higher risk for heart disease and stroke, this high sodium load drives up blood pressure, forcing the heart to work harder and damaging blood vessels over time. Second, they are often loaded with saturated fats, which contribute to high LDL, the bad cholesterol levels. Finally, the nitrates and nitrites used as preservatives have been linked in numerous studies to increased inflammation throughout the body and are associated with a higher risk of certain cancers. This chronic inflammation can worsen insulin resistance, making your diabetes harder to manage. The solution is to recenter your protein sources around whole, unprocessed options. The transition can be delicious and satisfying. For breakfast, instead of sausage or bacon, try 2 eggs scrambled with spinach and mushrooms, or a serving of plain Greek yogurt with a handful of berries. For lunch, instead of a processed turkey sandwich, take a few extra minutes on the weekend to roast a whole chicken or turkey breast. You can then slice it yourself for sandwiches and salads all week long. It's cheaper, has no additives, and you control the sodium. Make fresh fish, particularly fatty fish like salmon, a regular part of your diet. Salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are powerfully anti-inflammatory and excellent for heart health. Plant-based proteins are also fantastic choices. A hearty lentil soup or a black bean burger on a whole grain bun can be incredibly flavorful and packed with fiber and nutrients. Let me tell you about Frank, a 75-year-old retired truck driver from Austin, Texas. Frank loved his routine: 2 sausage patties and a biscuit every morning. He also had high blood pressure and borderline high cholesterol on top of his type 2 diabetes. He saw his breakfast as his right and was very resistant to change. I asked him to try an experiment. We found a brand of chicken sausage that was made from lean chicken, had no nitrates, and was significantly lower in sodium and fat. He agreed to try it for 2 weeks. At first, he grumbled that it wasn't the same, but by the end of the second week, he admitted he felt lighter. He had more energy, and his blood pressure readings at home were consistently lower. This small victory empowered him to try other changes, like swapping his biscuit for a slice of whole wheat toast. For Frank, it wasn't about giving up his sausage breakfast, but about finding a much healthier way to enjoy it. Are these practical examples helpful? Let me know with a 1 for yes or a 0 for no in the comments below. I read every single one. Our fourth food group to avoid forever is one that often masquerades as a harmless treat or a comfort food: fried foods. This encompasses a wide range of popular items, from French fries and potato chips to fried chicken, onion rings, and donuts. The conventional thinking is that these are sometimes foods, an indulgence that is okay on occasion. For a person over 60 with diabetes, however, the damage from these foods is so significant that I advise my patients to consider them retired from their diet permanently. The combination of refined starches, high heat, and unhealthy industrial oils creates a perfect storm of metabolic disruption. The reason these foods are so uniquely destructive is twofold. First, they are typically made with a coating of refined flour or batter, which, as we've discussed, acts just like sugar in your body. Second, and more critically, is the frying process itself. When foods are deep fried in common vegetable oils like corn, soy, or cottonseed oil, the fats become unstable and create harmful compounds, including trans fats. Trans fats are an artificial fat that is a true poison to the human body. They are known to dramatically increase insulin resistance, making it much harder for your cells to absorb sugar from the blood. They also deliver a 1-2 punch to your cholesterol levels, simultaneously raising your dangerous LDL cholesterol while lowering your protective HDL cholesterol. This aggressively promotes the buildup of plaque in your arteries, dramatically increasing your risk for a heart attack or stroke. The inflammation generated by these fried foods is systemic, affecting every part of your body, from your joints to your brain. The solution is to fall in love with alternative cooking methods that can deliver fantastic flavor and texture without the destructive fats. One of the greatest kitchen inventions for healthy eating in recent years is the air fryer. This appliance can give you that wonderful crispy texture on foods like chicken or potatoes using a tiny fraction of the oil. You can make delicious fries from sweet potatoes, carrots, or zucchini with just a teaspoon of olive oil. Roasting is another brilliant technique. Tossing vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, or Brussels sprouts with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper, and roasting them at a high temperature, around 400 Celsius, until they are brown and caramelized, brings out their natural sweetness. Baking, grilling, and steaming are also your best friends. Learn to use herbs and spices to create bold flavors. A chicken breast that is seasoned well and baked or grilled is infinitely healthier and can be just as satisfying as its deep-fried counterpart. I had a patient, Brenda, a 70-year-old grandmother from Atlanta, Georgia. For her, Sunday dinner meant fried chicken. It was a tradition steeped in family and love. Giving it up felt like giving up a piece of her identity. Her diabetes was not well controlled, and her cholesterol was a major concern. She was convinced healthy food had to be bland. I challenged her to find a mock fried chicken recipe online that used an air fryer or an oven baking technique. She found one that used a coating of whole wheat flour, spices, and crushed nuts for crunch. She was skeptical, but she made it for her family the next Sunday. She called me on Monday, ecstatic. Her family loved it, and she realized she could keep the beloved tradition alive in a way that nurtured her health instead of harming it. It was a powerful shift in mindset, from one of deprivation to one of creative adaptation. I hope this gives you some practical ideas. If it does, please type 1 in the comments. If not, a 0 is fine. Your honesty helps me serve you better. Finally, the fifth and most deceptive category we must eliminate is what I call the health halo breakfast cereals and granola bars. These products are a masterclass in misleading marketing. They come in boxes adorned with phrases like heart healthy, made with whole grains, and good source of fiber. They are positioned as the perfect, quick, and responsible breakfast choice. The old way of thinking was to trust these front-of-the-box claims. The devastating reality is that the vast majority of these products are little more than candy in a box, engineered to be hyperpalatable and completely unsuitable for anyone with diabetes. The importance of seeing through this marketing facade is crucial for starting your day on the right foot. If you begin your morning with a food that spikes your blood sugar, you are setting yourself up for a day of cravings, energy crashes, and metabolic chaos. Turn over that healthy cereal box and look at the nutrition label. You will often find that sugar, under various names like high fructose corn syrup, cane juice, or dextrose, is the second or third ingredient. The whole grains claim may be technically true, but the grains are often pulverized into a fine flour that your body absorbs just as quickly as refined flour. Granola bars are often even worse, glued together with various syrups and sugars, sometimes rivaling a standard candy bar in sugar content. Starting your day this way is like putting kindling on the fire of insulin resistance. The solution is to reclaim your breakfast and opt for whole, real foods that are rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber. This combination is the key to satiety and stable blood sugar. One of the best breakfasts you can have is plain oatmeal. Not the instant packets with flavored sugar, but either steel-cut oats or old-fashioned rolled oats. Cook them and add your own healthy toppings like a handful of blueberries or raspberries, which are high in fiber and low in sugar, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a tablespoon of chopped walnuts or chia seeds for healthy fats and protein. Another excellent choice is plain Greek yogurt. Ensure it has no added sugar, topped with berries. Eggs are a diabetics superfood. Scrambled, boiled, or as an omelet filled with non-starchy vegetables like spinach, peppers, and onions, they provide high-quality protein that keeps you full for hours. I'll never forget Susan, a 65-year-old from San Diego, California, who was frustrated beyond belief. She was doing everything right, including starting her day with a bowl of heart-healthy brand cereal. Yet her blood sugar was 180 centimeters DL 2 hours later. She brought the cereal box in, and we looked at the label together. It had 15 grams of added sugar per serving. That's almost 4 teaspoons of sugar. She was shocked and felt betrayed by the brand. We switched her breakfast to 2 scrambled eggs with a slice of whole wheat toast. The very next day, her 2-hour post-breakfast reading was 125 mg DL. It was an immediate and profound difference. She learned the invaluable lesson that you cannot trust the front of the box. The truth is always on the nutrition label on the back. This is our final food group. Was this information eye-opening? Please let me know one last time by typing a 1 for yes or 0 for no in the comments below. As we draw to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. We have identified 5 key culprits that are often hiding in plain sight, sabotaging the health of so many well-intentioned seniors. The liquid sugar of sweetened beverages, the stealth sugars of refined grains, the inflammatory trifecta of processed meats, the metabolic poison of fried foods, and the deceptive marketing of sugary breakfast cereals. Removing these from your diet isn't about punishment or living a life of bland deprivation. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is a declaration that you value your health, your energy, and your future more than a fleeting moment of taste. The most valuable lesson I've learned in my 3 decades of practice is that managing a chronic condition like diabetes in your later years is less about complex medical jargon and more about a series of small, consistent, and empowered choices you make every single day. It's about the choice to infuse your water instead of pouring a glass of juice. It's the choice to read an ingredient label before putting a box in your cart. It's the choice to bake a piece of salmon instead of ordering fried fish. These individual choices may seem small, but compounded over weeks, months, and years, they have the power to completely rewrite your health story. They are the difference between a life dictated by fatigue and medication side effects and a life filled with the vibrancy to travel, to play with your grandchildren, to walk on the beach, and to cherish every single moment. Your journey to better health doesn't end with reading this article. It begins. This is your call to action. I want you to take one piece of information you learned today and put it into practice this week. Just one. Perhaps it's clearing the sodas out of your refrigerator or trying a quinoa salad for the first time. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments section below, please share which of these 5 food categories surprised you the most. Your story and your insights can inspire and help someone else who is on this same journey. If you found this article valuable, please do 3 simple things. Share it with a friend, a spouse, or a family member who needs to hear this message. Your share could be a lifeline for someone you care about. Finally, be sure to subscribe to this channel or newsletter. We are building a community dedicated to providing clear, science-backed health advice to help you not just live longer, but live better. Thank you for your time and your commitment to your health. Be well.